Hello, I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man. So there are reports in the media about some companies reducing employees' pay to work from home. Paul Chamberlain is head of employment law at JMW Solicitors and joins me now to talk about it. So can an employer just on the spot reduce pay, Paul?
Well, it's interesting this because, funnily enough, it hit the press as a result of a law firm who had decided, or which had decided, to reduce pay. What they're effectively saying is, look, we'll pay you full pay if you decide to work from the office. If you are going to work from home all of the time, then we're going to take some pay away from you. Now, the short answer to your question is, unless that's covered by an express provision in the contract of employment, then it may be unlawful. There are some contracts which talk about people being paid an enhanced rate if they work in a particular location. So we've all heard about the London waiting. So there might be an argument that if someone says you don't need to be in London, or the employee says I'm not prepared to be in London, the employer might, if the contract's drafted well enough, be able to say, well, we'll take that money off you, we'll take the appropriate weighting off you. But if there isn't anything in the contract that gives them that express ability, then I'm afraid it is a contractual variation, and contractual variations have got to be agreed in most cases with the employee. So there needs to be some consultation. And whatever agreement is reached needs to be written down to ensure that there are no difficulties or doubts raised further down the line.
I don't want to sound mean, but playing devil's advocate for a minute, is there an argument then perhaps that an employer could say, well, hang on a minute, you're working from home, you're not quite as productive at home. And I suppose conversely as well, you talk about that London waiting. Might it be advantageous to an employee to be able to sort of live in Manchester and work remotely for a London firm?
Well, I mean, the interesting point about productivity, of course, is that most of the studies that I've seen and my own experience here is that people bizarrely can be more productive in certain circumstances when they're working from home. Now, it might be that during the COVID lockdown, that productivity was born out of perhaps a concern that people had for their continued employment. Everybody was uncertain as to what the future might hold. And people might then have thought, well, if I'm going to work from home, or if I'm working from home, I've got to show that I can do this and I can do it well. So there might have been a bit of self-preservation involved in that. But most of the studies that I've seen which have examined what's happened after lockdown all appear to suggest that productivity isn't really an issue. The Stevenson Harwood example, just to sort of delve into it in a little bit more detail, they're offering hybrid working to their employees in any event. So apparently under their scheme, you can work 2 days a week from home. And what they're saying is that they think that will satisfy most people. So they think it's a very, very few or a very, very small minority of employees who will want to do the full 5 day a week working from home model. If they do, they've said two things. Obviously, there's a pay issue. But the bit that interested me when I read the report was that they're also saying to their junior staff members, if you work exclusively from home, then you might harm your promotion prospects. So it's quite it is quite a big stick that's being used by Stevenson Harwood and indeed by others who are following the same line, not just pay being affected, but also potentially promotion prospects. I don't understand the promotion prospects issue because, frankly, you can be just as good a lawyer, it seems to me, working from home. You can be just as good a business developer working from home as you can from working in the office. So it's an odd logic.
And Paul, you've talked about a lot of different factors there. How can you help employers who are grappling with this at the moment?
Well, the legal questions revolve around varying or changing employees' contracts, and we do a lot of that work with existing clients. Economic factors very often will impact on what an employee's contract might look like. And, we have over the years been involved in redundancy exercises where, as an alternative perhaps to being made redundant, the employer said, we need to impose a pay cut. So there are legal issues that arise, and we can help with the process of documenting the change, and perhaps more importantly, the process leading up to the change, which is effectively a consultation exercise with the staff.
Paul, thank you very much for your insight. And if you'd like to speak to Paul, you can email insideman@jmw.co.uk or call 0161 82 81 999. I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man.